Welcome to this December edition of our Tempestorm Shadowverse Meta Snapshot breakdown. The mini expansion for Verdant Conflict has been released, and with it, a handful of new cards that have worked themselves into existing archetypes. While the mini expansion has brought us some new archetypes, such as Aggro Forest with Amataz and Levin Sword, the dominant decks got further reinforced by the mini expansion and continue to tower above the rest. This is especially true for Natura Haven, which has continued to assert its dominance over every other archetype, and will continue to do so. At least, it would have. But Cygames announced a sudden nerf to Agnes that will go live on December 12th. As the changes have yet to go live, this meta snapshot reflects the meta before the nerf. We will release an update after analyzing the post-patch meta. Before we proceed with the December meta snapshot, make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with the latest Tempestorm news and Shadowverse content. Now, let's get right to it. The new Tier 1 features 3 decks: Natura Haven, Natura Dragon, and Aggro Forest. As mentioned, Natura Haven continues to dominate the meta, to a point where Cygames will be nerfing Agnes 2 weeks before the Shadowverse World Grand Prix. The deck has no weaknesses matchup-wise. It is consistent, capable of controlling the board, fast with high burst potential, and gets only scarier in the late game. It has gotten to a point where players opt to stop trying to target Haven in a tournament setting with multiple decks, and tailor their strategy towards other popular decks such as Natura Dragon, decks with clearly defined weaknesses. Sheraton, Ice Flame Priest, is a new addition to Natura Haven after the mini expansion. In the amulet-heavy Natura Haven deck, it is essentially an extra body that can apply additional pressure while removing enemy threats and wards. With the upcoming balance update nerfing Agnes from a 4-5 to a 3-4, the deck will no longer have strong burst potential by comboing Agnes and craving Splendor. While much less oppressive, we expect the deck to remain in Tier 1 or top of Tier 2. As the playstyle of the deck is still very strong at its core. With Natura Dragon's signature ramp mechanic, a mixture of heals, wards, and a wide range of removal spells, this archetype is the only deck with an even matchup against Natura Haven, and has been shifted up to Tier 1 in this meta snapshot because of it. Wildfire Tyrannosaur reinforces the early game with removal and consistency in the form of tree generation. While played at its full cost, it functions as a board clear effect and can contribute to just enough damage, such that the next Shadow's Corrosion proc can finish off the opponent. Lastly, while Amataz Fairy Blader has been around since the start of the Verdant Conflict, it is not until the introduction of Divine Smithing did the deck become consistent. While the deck finishes off their opponent by around turn 6 or 7, like Natura Haven and Roach Forest, in extreme cases, the deck can end the game by turn 5, making this the fastest deck in the meta for now. For a detailed write-up of this deck, check out Esia's advanced Amataz Forest guide in the Shadowverse section of our website, and get some turn 5 lethals of your own. In Tier 2 of our December meta snapshot, there are Forest decks and an assortment of Swordcraft decks. At the top is Natura Forest. Even with a positive win rate against its Forestcraft siblings and the Sword decks in Tier 2, the weakness to both Haven and Dragon hinders Natura's Forest's rise to glory. The new addition of Primal Giant gives Natura Forest a cost-efficient heal against more aggressive decks, while its full cost effect, while slow, is an effective game ender. Keep an eye out for this deck's performance after the Agnes nerf on December 12th. With one of its bad matchups becoming less prominent, the deck may find itself in a rather favorable environment. Roach Forest, while still a very competitive deck, finds itself below the other Forestcraft siblings. Its combo nature makes it deadly against Natura Dragon. In fact, Roach Forest and Ambush Sword together form the basis of an anti-dragon lineup in tournament settings. While Roach loses to Aggro Forest and finds itself slightly unfavored against many other meta decks, its strength against Dragon and ability to hold out against Natura Forest gives Roach solid reasons to be played over Aggro Forest under the right circumstances. The Levin trait for Swordcraft was introduced several months ago in the Rebirth of Glory expansion, but the archetype never took off due to the lack of other Levin support cards. In comes Levin Justice, a new tool in the Levin package introduced in the mini expansion. Not only is this one playpoint removal spell an extremely cost-effective one, it also generates a copy of Urius Levin Duke, allowing you to maintain the amount of Levin cards in your hand. While Levin Sword may only be at the bottom of Tier 2, keep an eye out for potentially even more Levin cards to be revealed in the upcoming expansion. They may allow this deck to be a top contender in the next month. Next is our Countering the Meta section. Natura Haven continues to prey on other decks, with only Natura Dragon barely wrestling with it on equal terms. However, Natura Dragon is nowhere near as impenetrable as Natura Haven. In a meta where there has been no good solution against Natura Haven, players shifted their targeting towards Natura Dragon, often being the victim of decks such as Aggro Forest, Roach Forest, and Ambush Sword. Until the nerf to Agnes on December 12th, it is recommended to just go nuts with Natura Haven on ladder for those last-minute ladder points. One notable point in this current meta is the existence of 3 unique Forestcraft decks, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. This gives the Forest player a hidden advantage on ladder, since it is difficult for the opponent to correctly mulligan against the right archetype. Natura Forest has all-around good matchups against most decks. But is weak against Natura Haven and Natura Dragon. Aggro Forest and Roach Forest are stronger against Natura Dragon, but lose to Natura Forest and have an inferior spectrum of matchups. Knowing which Forestcraft deck to utilize, especially in the chaotic post-nerf meta, will be essential in successful ladder sessions. We believe Natura Haven will remain relevant in the coming weeks. Craving Splendor can still be used with Agnes or Meowskers with an evolution point, and can still be used as a removal after the nerf. However, evolving Kel to clear means no evolving Craving Splendor for face damage. Lastly, remember that the meta is not necessarily defined by the strength of decks, but also the popularity of them. This is especially true in cyclical metas where a ring of matchups among the top decks is established. For instance, no one was playing Alana Haven because Natura Haven was that much stronger, so the deck may make a comeback in the upcoming weeks. In conclusion, with the new Ultimate Coliseum expansion to be released on December 27th, we are down to just 2.5 weeks of the Verdant Conflict expansion. While the mini expansion may not have shifted the meta substantially, the upcoming nerf to Natura Haven will certainly throw the meta into chaos. For a definitive look at the final stages of this Verdant Conflict meta, tune in to the epic conclusion of the 2019 competitive circuit. The Shadowverse World Grand Prix will be held on December 24th and the 26th, where 24 of the top Shadowverse players around the world will be competing against each other for the $1 million first place prize. Be sure to tune in to the next installment of Tepastorm's Buddy System Tournament Series airing on December 14th at 12 p.m. Pacific, including the reveal of 2 Ultimate Coliseum cards live on stream from Potwasher. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for the latest Tepastorm news and Shadowverse content. Thanks for watching.